We are about to rant about Joe Biden, the war criminal, the climate crisis denier, the man who is governing just like Donald Trump, but he has the neoliberal establishment on his back. The media has his back. We are seeing escalation in the U.S. empire. We're seeing the climate crisis get worse. We are seeing the class war escalate. And that is what I want to yell about today. I can tweet the stream out. I'm going to tweet the Twitch and YouTube link. Say what's up if you guys are jumping in. This has been a great week for Fred Hampton leftists as well. We have finally hit 10,000 subscribers, which is insane considering we was under 7,000 at the beginning of August. And we set this hashtag FHL to 10K. And now we finally hit that. I think we had like 10,200 now on Fred Hampton Leftist. This is my personal YouTube channel. Social cinema where we can have a little bit more fun. So yeah, pretty much we have plenty of things to cover regarding the Biden administration because we gotta keep our focus on the ruling class and what they're doing wrong, because we can't rely on progressives to hold them accountable anymore. So it's only the quote unquote far left independent media. Let's see if I can get my friend on here. I have been looking at this story here. We can get started here very soon. But as I said, Biden is a war criminal, and now their administration is even forced to admit it. And in a rational society, this is the kind of thing that will get someone. There will be something that will be an impeachable offense, I would think. Hey Deborah, how you doing, Deborah? In the chat, Quaker Socialist, you guys are early today. Thank you for tuning in. Eric Thomas in the house. Biden can't sweet talk everyone the way Obama did. His numbers are already starting to tank. His numbers shouldn't have been high in the first place. That just show how so many people. That always happen when the president first take charge. They always have a high approval rating for no reason. I don't know. Maybe people want to be hopeful that things are going to get better, but I don't know why anyone thinks a guy who has been in government as long as Joe Biden and who has a record of destruction that I'm going to cover here very soon, that Joe Biden has, that he somehow is going to be like a force for change for good. You had a lot of progressives that were trying to sell the idea of Joe Biden, who were trying to tell people that, hey, this having Trump in office, this is a great opportunity, so now we can finally get the Democratic Party to represent our agenda. And everyone know how ridiculous that is. Because that idea relies on the premise that they care about what you want instead of their donors. Joe Biden had over 100 billionaire donors. And you guys think he was going to cross and betray his donors to pass your progressive agenda. This is the kind of stuff that Bernie Sanders and his ally will try to sell us. Now, the Vote Blue Now Mild Who progressives, they have a lot of explaining to do. I'm also going to cover the story here later on the stream. The Biden administration was like, nah, what you guys worry about climate change, bro? Climate change is not even that big deal. We can keep expanding offshore drilling. We can keep fracking. We can expand the military budget, which is the largest polluter. Not a big deal. That's what they think. And I'm going to cover that here very soon. The Daily Poster did a good job digging into some documents, so we'll check that out here very soon. Welcome to the stream, A-Box. Anthony's in the house as well. I'm going to tweet the Twitter link again. Saturday evening. Thank you for the follow. Chris Nanya. Quaker Social says COVID, inflation, supply delays, slow building, worker slowdowns, and booming general strike, and Supreme Court justice issued during Biden administration will tank its numbers. Yeah, there's so many. It was very clear how incompetent he was. I mean, they can only lie and keep the they're going to keep the facade up for so long. The emperor has no clothes anymore because people are now making the connection that, oh shit, Joe Biden's governing just like Donald Trump. Hey, guess who was telling you guys that was gonna happen? Because I was telling you guys Joe Biden is all but Donald Trump's equal. Every crime you lay on Donald Trump, you can lay on Joe Biden. Oh, Donald Trump is a serial liar. Joe Biden lied about being arrested in South Africa with Nelson Mandela. He lied about being part of the civil rights movement, even though he was a segregationist. He was in front of millions of people on the national stage, and Bernie Sanders was calling him out for his. He wanted to cut Social Security. He wanted to cut Medicaid, and he was calling him out for that. And he was lying in front of millions of people. Just saying, "Oh no, Bernie Sanders, this is not right. This is not true. I've always been a friend of the workers and the unions." So these people, they go in front of millions of people on TV, and I see it all the time. And they will just straight lie about what they are about. You have Kamala Harris, who supports civil asset forfeiture, which stole our wealth. She was locking up parents for truancy, responsible for expanding the police state in California. But she was like, yo, I'm a progressive prosecutor. So they just straight up lied. The same way Donald Trump did. Oh, Donald Trump is corrupt to use politics to enrich his family. Just like the Bidens did that. The Bidens did the same exact thing. Maker of the show, how you doing? Saturday stream. The emperor has no brain. The president, and this is why I say Joe Biden is the 11th term of Ronald Reagan, because we have not seen a shift in the U.S. empire, at least since then, at all. You can go back even further, actually, because I'll go back. I will go back way further than that. But this new neoliberal regime really ramped up in the Reagan era. The whole drug war escalation, the trickle down economics, and the union protections that were stolen away from us. So yeah, ever since then, you've seen the same consistency amongst all the administrations. People wonder why, despite having the anti-war rhetoric, that Barack Obama ended up dropping more bombs than George Bush. The reason why is because he wasn't going to become president and change the direction of the military-industrial complex. In fact, he was going to expand it because they follow the direction of the U.S. empire, and the U.S. empire is all about building upon the military-industrial complex for weapons defense contractors. Afghanistan was not a failure because Raytheon and Boeing, they're seeing a 1,000% increase in their stocks. So that was a victory. And then when they boost their revenue, they give more money to the politicians. And even the politicians are voted out, they get a lobbyist positions at these places. So it's a web of corruption. Oh, we're gonna vote them out. It's not gonna change anything because you have Raytheon and Boeing that will just finance another candidate that will win, and then the candidate who's loyal to them, they will be taken care of when they leave office. Shout out to Zanitu. Thank you for watching. Thank you. He said congrats on 10K for FHL on YouTube. Too bad CJ wasn't part of yesterday's stream. Yeah, yesterday's stream was very fun because we were just kind of hanging out. Usually we pretty deeply serious, but we all friends. I love everyone at FHL, so you guys saw how we interact for the most part. How the yesterday's celebration was. CJ had to work, so unfortunately he wasn't there, but he's hyped, and he's hyped for sure. CJ been killing the game. I'm very excited for the Drone Strike Summits, and he's carrying the weight on that because he really wants to spread awareness on getting strikes going, and I'm all for that. That should be our focus. A-Box said Biden is a tool of the bourgeoisie. Yeah, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, they are very class loyal. Eric Thomas said, very cool to see FHL taking off. Yeah, it's been pretty wild. It's been pretty wild. It's still, like, not any money in it, but it's still great to. It's still great that I know that we actually reaching people and we actually spurring people to actually challenge the system, engage in mutual aid. Because I had people reach out to me, and it was like I didn't even really think about these kind of things before. Like when I tell people like don't donate to politicians, donate mutual aid, look into local organizations. So when I have people that say they got into the game because of what we do, that's great. That's great stuff. That's all we can do. That's all I can do with my resources. If I had the amount like followers AOC had, I'll be fucking shit up. 12.7 million. You know what kind of mass resistance I'll be organizing, but we can do what we can do with what we have, and I think that's what we've been doing at FHL. And it'll be very interesting if we continue to grow, because we already get a lot of people who are sympathetic to the idea of the lesser of two evils, incrementalism, and supporting the Democratic Party. They always try to go after us and snipe us because we are a direct contradiction to their ideas. Because our message is politicians are not going to save you, and that's just an objective look at the situation that we are in right now, and that goes against everything they're saying on their live streams. So we make them look bad. Bill Bradley said, no surprise the protests in D.C. today got media coverage, but the end of the war protests last weekend got none. Raytheon owns more than just politicians. Yeah, it's a big game, bro. Because Raytheon owns, and the media is loyal to their weapons defense contractors. Because why would Raytheon and Boeing donate to MSNBC and CNN? What product are they selling their viewers? Think about this. The people who are watching this is just ordinary Americans and boomers. So they're not selling them a product. You understand me? So when Raytheon and Boeing runs an ad on MSNBC and CNN, they are not selling consumers a product, because what do they expect? Do they expect a consumer to buy a war missile? No. So what is that money about? That money is to buy loyalty of the media. Think about it. Why is Raytheon and Boeing advertising on MSNBC and CNN? They're not selling a product. They are buying the loyalty of the media. That's why when Biden wanted to reduce ground troops in Afghanistan, everyone in the media was against it, despite the fact that polls showed about 70% of the American people supported pulling out of Afghanistan. But the media class was all against it. The media class all support the apartheid state in Israel, and they support the genocide against the Palestinian people. Why do you think that is? They are brought off by these giant weapon defense contractors that are made rich by Israel with the weapon deals we keep giving them. And you're not even getting that kind of coverage on a lot of these shows. They just want, hey, Democrats good, no matter, vote for Democrats, even though they are paid off by the same weapon defense contractors that we were talking about. They want to expand the police state, knowing that the police have no accountability. No, they are killing us with impunity. No, they are just pretty much a force that is siphoning wealth from the workers to the ruling class. That's all they do. You have cops right now that are forcibly evicting people at gunpoint. Thank you for the subscription, Kendra, on YouTube. Hopefully you guys enjoying this. If you do, share, like. Let me know how the stream is going as well. But I don't know how people still buy the Democrat-Republican game. Eric Thomas says, certainly don't donate to Democrat or Republicans. Hell nah. It's super funny because I was on Jimmy Dore, and then Jimmy has such a massive audience, so you get a wide variety of viewers. I remember there was some of his conservatives that were mad at me because I was shitting on Larry Elder, who's a Republican trash can. He's like one of the people that pretend they're populist, and then there are people that think they're edgy because they support Larry Elder. You even saw Rose McGowan fall for this. Well, it was like, we're gonna support Larry Elder, but you are not edgy, or you're not anti-establishment supporting Larry Elder. He supports trickle-down economics. He supports our police state. All the policies that come from Larry Elder and these so-called edgy Republicans like Josh Hawley, it will benefit the ruling class and hurt the workers. So you're not edgy by supporting these people. And I don't even know why I even had to say that. And I made a point that a lot of you conservatives think you guys are opposing neoliberalism, but you're not. Look at the definition of neoliberalism. That is what MAGA and Trump supporters believe 100%. Free market capitalism, strong national defense, giant police budgets. You guys are all for neoliberalism. There's no difference other than the class war. The culture war is the only difference between the two sides. Let me get some. I'll get to some comments here. And then we get into my Joe Biden story. David Jones said, "Yeah, the Rose thing surprised me." Then I saw Rose had some good takes, but I'm like, she's still a celebrity at the end of the day. You know what I mean? She's still a millionaire. She's still a celebrity. So Larry Elder has horrific economic ideas. Libertarian right-wing economic ideas is trash. It's pretty much you returning to feudism. Hey, welcome to the stream, Gene. I like Gene. Gene, friend of the show. And he would do the bidding of Wall Street, just like Donald Trump did. They attacked Hillary Clinton because they were like, oh, Hillary Clinton is a puppet of Goldman Sachs. And then Donald Trump got in, and then he was a puppet of Goldman Sachs. He hired a ton of Goldman Sachs people. So if you're like a millionaire like Rose, it's easy for you to fall for like the Larry Elder grift. A lot of people they have no class analysis really. It's easy for them to fall for that grift. Just because you hate the Democratic Party do not mean you should support the Republican Party, because my criticism of the Democrats is they are like Republicans. And the Democratic Party does a good job in upholding the Republican politics that they want to pass, but they can't get done. Joe Biden getting lots of done that Trump wish he could got done. The same way Bill Clinton did a lot of things that Reagan wished he could have got done. So I had a tough talk with the Jimmy fans who like Elder, because me and Jimmy both said you shouldn't have anyone on who consider themselves a leftist supporting someone like Larry Elder, and that's not even a controversial take. I'm not even for supporting Gavin Newsom. That's my take. I don't care if you support Gavin Newsom, but if he lost, whatever, we could it's not a big deal, because Gavin Newsom is Republican too, and then you can just they give you a chance to damage the neoliberal brand in California, run a progressive, and win again in 2022. But I'm not from California, so it's not my fight. Thank you, Quaker. That's why I had to jump on today, because the only reason I haven't been on the channel, I told you guys I would be more consistent, but you guys see how all the streams I did on FHO this week, right? So I couldn't be on the channel, so I'll jump on weekends, or whenever there's not like an FHO going on, I'll try to jump on. But we had a busy week. I was about to jump on last night, but then we hit 10,000 subscribers, so I was hit up and said we got to hit the stream, and we had fun last night. So make sure you guys check that video out as well. Yeah, Bill. I think Bill's talking about the beef between Gavin Newsom's wife and Rose McGowan. Yeah. So yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Kerry said he saw me on Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy Dore is dope. I don't know when next time we'll be on, but it was super dope to have a conversation with Jimmy. Rage Against the Machine on against Jimmy. It's weird because like the videos that I was when I was on Jimmy had like 100,000 views. And it's like, damn, I can't even wrap my head around how many fucking people that is. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, so yeah, that what David Jones is saying. If you guys look in the chat here, because yeah, you can be mad at Gavin Newsom's wife, but you don't have to prop up Larry Elder. If I was her, I would just tell the truth. I'd be like, yo, fucking all the candidates in this race suck. Larry Elder, you suck. But Gavin Newsom needs to go. Vote yes on the recall. She could have just said that, right? What do you guys think? I'm right on that, right? Just like, I'm like, yo, every candidate, if I hated Gavin Newsom the way she did, hell, if I'm leftist in general, I'd be like, yo, every candidate that has a chance of winning sucks. They all suck, but we need to get rid of Gavin Newsom. That's what I would do if I was her. There's literally no reason to prop up Larry Elder. No reason. Gene said, I think it's like the good cop, bad cop routine. They're both trying to destroy you. Exactly. And we'll show you guys here very soon. Yeah. Yeah, Quaker is talking about how my stream is throttled. I was talking to like the Vanguard people about how to beat the algorithm, but I'm too boomer for that. Like, bro, if you want to watch me, you can watch me. So I'm not trying to fucking play around with the algorithm. I got enough Twitter followers, so people that want to watch me, they can watch me. Yeah, Gina knows fucks both parties. So I guess let's get into the story. My first one. Um, so Joe Biden, like I feared, is a war criminal. And in a rational society, I said this before, and this is why, as an anti-imperialist, I am not comfortable with praising Joe Biden for Afghanistan because his exit was so horrific. And I'm not even talking about what the Republicans are talking about with their nonsense that where they want to stay in Afghanistan. You had a lot of Trump supporters who pretended they was anti-imperialist, anti-war, but they're not because they want a permanent occupation in Afghanistan. That's their criticism of Biden. My criticism of Biden is this here. How can anyone who is anti-imperialist praise Joe Biden when on his way out, the U.S. military admits it's killed 10 civilians and targeted wrong vehicle in the Kabul airstrikes? So you had the Biden administration that the media pretend to care about Afghan women. They pretend to care about the Afghan citizens, but then they did not care at all about the fact that you had the Biden administration bombing these people. There was reports that they were shooting people at the airport where the terrorist attack happened. So they are responsible for mass death. And this video is quite hilarious. Look at it. Look at this. Let's play the video. And this guy to let you know how sorry he is.
Good afternoon. I'm here to brief the results of the investigation I directed following the report of civilian casualties from our strike in Kabul on 29 August. Having thoroughly reviewed the findings of the investigation and the supporting analysis by interagency partners, I am now convinced that as many as 10 civilians, including up to 7 children, were tragically killed in that strike. Moreover, we now assess that it is unlikely that the vehicle and those who died were associated with ISIS-K or were a direct threat to U.S. forces. I offer my profound condolences to the family and friends of those who were killed. This strike was taken in the earnest belief that it would prevent an imminent threat to our forces and the evacuees at the airport. But it was a mistake, and I offer my sincere apology. As the combatant commander,
I offer my sincere apology. Yeah, we killed 10 civilians, bombed some kids. But don't worry, guys. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very, very sorry that I just bombed and killed your people. An occupation that we should never been in the first place. And then he gave you some bullshit there. Oh, we bombed these civilians because we were trying to prevent a threat to American troops or our forces. You see that? Airstrikes are not and will never be defensive. No matter how much they try to sell you that idea, that is not true. This is an offensive operation that targeted and killed civilians. But he just wants you to know that he's sorry. Oops. My bad. I accidentally bombed some folks. I accidentally committed a war crime. In an offensive act. If these people was really sorry, these people would go to prison. If you think I'm being extreme on that, if you accidentally, even on an accident, let's say if you just fucking murdered someone, if you just murdered someone, you go into prison, most likely, right? If you're not like a rich and white, right? For the most part, you go into prison. So if you can go to prison for killing someone, you should go to prison for bombing 10 of them, right? That's not unreasonable. The propaganda trained you to think that's unreasonable to believe. It's not. It's not. This is not a mistake that you can walk past, walk back. 10 lives are gone. I don't know the details of these people's lives. And I should, honestly. I'm gonna see if I can get some more. Because these are real people. And people in America don't see these civilians as real people. These are people that will be mourned by their community. This will be a scar on that community that they would never recover from. And they say they do these airstrikes to prevent terrorist attacks and to be defensive. But you guys are achieving the exact opposite goal effect for this. Because when you do this, this is why people shift to extremist beliefs. Not even extremist beliefs, because is it really extremist to hate and want to kill Americans if they bombed and killed their kids? If I had a government that was like, oops, sorry, killed anyone you know, I'm probably going to wage a jihad against them too, right? But, if I said that, I'm a terrorist sympathizer, though. No, it's just, I understand human emotions. If you put yourself in their shoes, right? I don't like thinking about it. But let's say you just like, I'm out, you working, you doing something, and while you was gone, the fucking government just bombs your house. They're like, yo, we think there's a terrorist near where you live, and we want to make sure that we're safe, so we went on a defensive strike, bombed your house, killed your kids, killed everyone you know. What do you think you're gonna do? Like, it's cool, man. It was just an honest mistake. Just an honest mistake. No, you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to revenge y'all. To fucking revenge my family. And that's not a radical position. I'm sorry. There have been reports of soldiers going to villages, killing innocent civilians, including kids, sexually assaulting and raping the women in Afghanistan. And you think these people are going to be like, oh, sorry. In the United States, they like, oh, we're sorry, we bombed you guys. My bad. Surely this is the first time this ever happened, right? If they was really sorry, this wouldn't keep happening. You understand how many times we've been through this song and dance? Biden been through it as vice president under Barack Obama. Oh shit, we bombed the hospital. Oops, sorry, my bad. Oh shit, we bombed a wedding, killed 20 people. My bad. If they really cared, they wouldn't be doing this no more. Abolish the U.S. war machine. This is why we need slash the military budget and the defense budget. Every day that I live as a civilian in a country that's responsible for the amount of mass death of the United States, the taxpayer money, not really taxpayer, because I believe in MMT, modern monetary theory. But anyway, you guys know the basic concept. I still don't like the fact that I'm paying taxes in the country because our taxes actually don't fund the war. That what MMT is telling you. Our FHO brother Andy does a good job explaining this stuff. I need to have Andy on. I'm gonna talk to Andy about MMT. I know the very basic concepts of it, but I'm not like an expert. So when I say my taxpayer money is going to the war machine, that's not necessarily accurate if you believe in MMT. But you gotta know the concept. I don't want to be a taxpayer in a country that is fucking obliterating and killing innocent civilians. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm not gonna pretend I'm like an expert at MMT. Andy from Fred Hampton Lefties, he's really good. I just know the basics. But when I explain this concept to people, I caught myself. But when I explain this concept to these people, I'm like, bro, I don't want my taxpayer money to go to bomb brown people because that's an easy way for people to understand it, right? Is that fair? I think that's fair. All right, let me get to some comments. I think that's a pretty solid segment, right? I need to start editing the segments, putting on YouTube. But I don't got like a ton of subscribers anyway, so it's whatever. All right. Bill Bradley said, "I imagine the pilots dissociate. It's like a video game for them at this point. I'm assuming you meaning when they bomb kids. Bro, you gotta be an insane psychopath for that. I'm sorry. I don't know how these people sleep at night." Bill Bradley also said that American exceptionalism has a lot of negative side effects. One of those is that Americans see the lives of their fellow countrymen as worth more than the lives of people in other nations. Amen. That's exactly the scourge of American exceptionalism. Because when there was that terrorist attack, you had like, what was it? Hopefully I'm not getting a number, but it was like 60, 70 Afghan civilians died, and you had like a handful of American soldiers that died. But the media like never reported on Afghan citizens. They were like, "Oh my God, American soldiers was killed," which is sad, right? But why are you guys reporting on the fact that we had Americans die, but we had like 10 times more Afghan citizens die in that same attack, but you guys don't care? And that's people just don't care. I just don't get it. People just don't care about anyone who's not American. I see it. I cared ever since I seen how Africa was fucked up by capitalism and colonialism. That was something that got me really early. Eric Thomas says defensive child murder. It's wild that people believe that stuff, right? Eric Thomas said they hate us for our. This is what they believe. They hate us for our freedom, as in the freedom to just kill them. Yeah, I'll be fucking. It makes 100% sense to me for like these people who are victims of U.S. imperialism and colonialism to be chanting death to America. To me, that's very rational. See, that's where I lose. That's where I lose. Like, if you had like the right wingers, they're like, "Well, how can you say that?" Like, bro, I hope you understand what I'm talking about, though. Because imagine the U.S. government killed your entire family. How you feel? People go crazy for way less over here. People go crazy for way less. Yao Ming said, "Do you believe in open borders?" We have open borders right now, Yao Ming. Whether you believe it or not. What is a border? You can overcome a border with what? You can overcome a border with funds. So if you want to leave and you want to immigrate to a country, all it takes is financial resources. Let's see. Let's have this conversation discussing open borders and taking other questions. Challenge me. I'm down for a good challenge. I'm gonna explain you guys the open border concept. I just want to share my stream. It's been a while. Let me know how the stream going. Hope you guys having a good time. I just want to jump on Saturday and talk some shit with you guys. So you guys gotta understand that everything that, and as a leftist, I come to this position. I frame everything from the class perspective, right? I frame everything from the class perspective. Borders and the concept of open borders terrify right wingers, but we already have open borders, and you guys aren't really fighting against that, right? Because the only thing that stops people from moving among states, which is the border, right, is funds. So if you're rich, there is no such thing as a border for you, really. Like if Jeff Bezos, if Elon Musk, if any of these business people, they just want to go to another country, there's nothing that really stopping them. If they wanted to shift your jobs away, because we now live in a globalist society, right? We have our jobs that are being shifted overseas. We have products that are made by child slave labor, right? So we don't have any concept of a border in terms of our economy. Why would we have a concept of a border in terms of workers? So if you're a worker and if you want to shift areas, you should be able to. And that's a class perspective, whether you believe it or not. If you had the economy that I'm looking for, because right now you have the right wingers who believe in crony. They have, well, crony capitalism is capitalism, but they believe in the trickle down economic system that do not benefit the workers. All the wealth go to the wealthy bourgeoisie ruling class. If we actually have strong local economies, this whole scapegoat of immigrant completely goes away, because the whole right wing, they say, oh, you have immigrants that are driving down the cost of labor. I call bullshit on that. It's the ruling class that are stealing our labor. Stop using the immigrants as a scapegoat for that. I don't buy that argument. So you guys are using immigrants as a scapegoat when it's the ruling class that are stealing your wealth. That's why I don't care about a border, because I'm not terrified of these people. I'm terrified of the police state that we live in. I'm terrified of these motherfuckers in the suit that will quickly use state violence to kill, maim, and imprison our people. And we have, and then yeah, I mean, have a disagreement, but that's fine. But I don't understand, because you say you want to stop all immigration, but these people are not our enemies. Like, our enemies are the ruling class, and the immigrant is not driving down your wages. It's the ruling class that are stealing your labor. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, because that's pill. If you acknowledge that it's not the immigrant that's stealing your wages, you will realize that, damn, I got a very hard fight in front of me, because that means I got to challenge the billionaire class. It's easy just to scapegoat the immigrant. It's easy to scapegoat the immigrant. And like Eric says, America is rich as fuck. There's nothing that is stopping us from paying our workers the wages that they deserve, right? Yao Ming said, how will you convince Congress? This is a guy that I'm having a soft debate with. How will you convince Congress to increase wages when everyone is corrupt? I don't really believe you can. I don't believe in electoral politics like that, right? I don't. I don't think our politicians are gonna save us. I think we gotta have mutual aid, direct action, and we gotta shut shit down in order to get things accomplished. That's the only way that we actually get things done. So I don't think those are conflicting beliefs. Yeah, Quaker said RJ was reporting on the supply chain issue and called it a COVID caused issue. I just want to say it also Zoomers calling bullshit on the whole freaking system and it's not working. It's a pre general strike. Yeah, those are the people who don't want to work for these slave wages, right? They don't want to work for slave wages, but then you have the media and the ruling class. They're saying, "Oh, Americans are lazy; they don't want to work." No, we are striking and protesting against the wages. The same capitalist will say, if you're complaining about your wages, the capitalist will say, "Oh, if you don't like what you pay, why don't you just quit?" And then people quit; they don't want to go back to their jobs, and then they want to complain that, "Oh, why do you not want to work?" Because we know our value as a people. He said, "I gain respect for you for not blocking." As long as you don't insult me, I don't care if you disagree with me on politics. Like, like people come in like hot, like you fucking piece of shit, you suck, you fucking idiot, and then I'll block them, and then they're like, "Oh, they can't handle anyone criticize you." Like, bro, I don't have to listen to your criticism if you're an asshole, right? But if we have slight disagreements, I can talk about issues with anyone, because I think I come at it with a sound mind. So the people who disagree with me on immigration, uh, my my only question with them is like, how are the immigrants responsible for the capitalist ruling class stealing our labor? How these people are responsible for the police state expanding? Because the police state, with civil asset forfeiture and with them being complicit with the capitalist state and forcibly evicting people, these people are stealing our wealth, not the immigrant. So you gotta show me where the immigrant is harming me. The immigrants never called me a nigger. You know what I mean? So why as a black American, it makes no sense for me to scapegoat them. White Americans do that. The privileged bourgeoisie, they tend to scapegoat the immigrant for whatever reason, because it's easy to point down instead of pointing up and realizing your problem is the ruling class. But these people, they don't do any harm to me. Like, that being completely objective. Like from a humanitarian perspective, I stand in solidarity with these people. But from an intellectual standpoint, I'm like, these people not doing anything to me. It's the cops. It's the fucking military that's polluting our society, our communities, the black community in particular. It's Wall Street that's stealing our wealth. They are taking us out of our homes. But you want us to blame immigrants? That doesn't make sense to me. And the onus is on you guys to explain to me why I should be afraid of people who are fleeing the consequences of U.S. imperialism. Because a lot of these people that are immigrating, they are leaving states that the United States destabilized with their CIA regime change efforts. So it's our fault for creating immigrants, and then you guys want to kick immigrants out. As a man, as a person, as a human being, I cannot stand with that. I can't stand with that. And like Eric said, immigrants are victims. Great comment, Eric Thomas. They are victims, and they are victims of U.S. imperialism. So as a worker and as someone who stands against the ruling class, I will not scapegoat these people. And I draw my line in the sand, and right-wingers, you gotta understand what I'm saying here. If you don't, sorry, I think I can mobilize a coalition against you. I think I can. Mark Ponecki. It's a great comment. He said, not to mention immigration wouldn't be a concern if we raised the standard of living around the globe so no one was struggling to survive. That's another conversation that capitalists don't want to have. We impose sanctions on these countries. We destroy these countries. And we put them in a destitute position where they have to immigrate. The same right-wingers, and I love this example because I'm going to cover climate change here soon. The same right-wingers will say, oh, we shouldn't do anything to fight the climate crisis. But the climate crisis is going to lead to a mass migration event unlike we have never seen before. So if you actually cared about preventing immigration, you should have cared about the climate crisis when it first started to prevent the migration crisis that's going to happen. Because we have, in sub-Saharan Africa, in the Middle East, a lot of these countries are not going to be inhabitable anymore after things heat up, right? But now we're going to have a massive migration crisis, and now that's because our corporations did that. The ruling class is responsible for all the global emissions. So I want you guys to understand that. So even if you are anti-immigrant, which once again does make sense to me, even if you are anti-immigrant, your battle should be against the ruling class. Because the ruling class is leading to these policies that is creating a situation you don't want. So once again, even if you disagree with my take, you still should be punching up. But I stand in solidarity with these immigrants, sorry, because they're victims of U.S. imperialist state violence the same way my community is. Let's get into some comments. I know y'all, I appreciate the debate, because y'all's on the Twitch side. He disagreed with me, but I think he's been pretty civil, which I don't mind, especially on this stream. I don't mind civil disagreement. Y'all say, I just believe in the current capitalist system. More immigration means capitalists can pay less wages. Why? Like, I hear people say that, but then you got to say why. There's nothing that's stopping them from paying the workers a living wage. They just choose not to, and they use immigrants as a scapegoat. I don't understand. I don't connect those two. I don't know how those two things will connect. Our wages drop, so the immigrants' fault. No, our wages dropped because our unions were destroyed. Our working class stole our wealth. They making a ton of money. It's not like immigrants are costing them money. It will make sense that immigrants were costing companies money. It was costing us growth, right? That will make sense. But they're not. The companies are making more than ever, and they're still paying us starvation wages. So that doesn't make sense. That's where I come from. And y'all said I always care about the climate crisis. I am very left on every issue other than immigration. I don't have anything to add to that, to be honest. But it's good to know that you care about that issue. But it's not the immigrants that are responsible for this stuff, man. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Every time we say embrace the immigrant, reject the billionaire. Bill Bradley said, "We need to wake up to the fact that the right is kicking our butt. They own both political parties, and even the anti-establishment right has shown the ability to get media coverage we can't get. And that's because our media institutions are designed to prop up right-wing movements. I explained this on an earlier stream. This is why they prop up and amplify every single right-wing movement, every single one, but they black out our protests. Like they give a ton of attention. The cops don't inflict the amount of violence on right wing protests like they do Black Lives Matter, for example. During all the COVID protests, you had the media just amplifying all these protests, and you look at the protests, and there'd be like fucking 20 people there, right? So the media is designed to prop up right wing protests and kill left wing protests because the right wing protests are usually a youthful idiots to their power. So they protest shit that only will help their power. Their COVID protests only help the ruling class in the lockdown, and like in the mandates, all this stuff. Because that means less regulation for the business. That means the businesses can make more money. They wasn't asking for people to get healthcare in the middle of the pandemic. They wasn't asking for the government to give our paid due in money in terms of monthly stimulus checks. They wasn't even asking for those kind of things. They was asking for the things that the corporate America would be happy to have, and that's why they amplified and boost those protests. But we have protests that are designed to challenge the police state violence, and you see the protests that are going, like the Biden administration is getting sued right now, right? Because their response to climate change. Is that getting media attention? I'm going to cover that story right now. Because Biden, they still expanding offshore drilling, they expanding fracking, and they were getting sued by environmental activists. But those protests, those acts against the state, they never covered. They covered right-wing protests all the damn time. So that's why I build this. I'm trying to build Fred Hampton leftists and the media institutions as we know it, because the media is the number one enemy of left-wing movements right now. Because if you think you want to take over the Democratic Party, if you think you're going to have any sort of electoral success with the media as it is right now, you are ridiculous. If you think we can organize a revolution with the media as it is right now, it's going to be tough. The revolution won't be televised by the capitalist people. So we got to have our own media systems. So you have a lot of people that are like, oh, you guys are just... if you just podcasters, you're not serious. No, we are developing an information channel system where we can promote revolutionary ideas and push back against U.S. regime change propaganda and capitalist propaganda. And without that, without the education, you will have Negro capitalists, you have Negro imperialists, just like Fred Hampton said. And that's where our goal is. That's the only thing I can do with my resources. I don't have a lot of resources, and that's my contribution. My contribution is training comrades so they can defend themselves and martial art mutual aid, and educating people against why we should start planning strikes and acts of disobedience, becoming ungovernable, for example. Quaker said, what about a coalition of lefties quarterly door knocking on 3 crucial issues start January? That's a good idea. Just take the conversation to the streets. Quaker socialists always with good ideas. I think, like, once again, just talk to your neighbors. And I was talking to Ashley Stevens this week on Fred Hampton Leftists, and we were talking about building community, just talking to people, right? Having those conversations. He said, I live close to KC. Do you host events? I used to do a lot of climate activism with KC Sunrise, but I don't do a lot of event hosting ever since the COVID-19 pandemic. But you guys see me at America for All marches. I show a lot of support and solidarity to KC tenants. I'm going to try to start organizing with them more. I showed up to a few of their events. KC tenants during the tenants protest with Quentin Lucas. I don't like once again, I don't really like advocating and like blowing up the stuff I do. I just advocate for people to get into more stuff. But if you're in Kansas City, I would love to hook up with organizers here and talk to them. I was talking to the guy who organized the America for All marches, and we need to build a lefty coalition in Kansas City, and that's something I'm dead serious about. And I talked to the people at the Vanguard about that as well. I would love to have a Kansas City left coalition, but I support KC 10 is the one I support the most. And what's good out here, the KC People Party and KC Green Party they have pretty decent solidarity with each other, and what we can do is continue to work together to fight for the tenants' rights, and that's what we do in Kansas City. That's what I focus on in Kansas City. So, Child of the Sun said climate change migration is already here. Yep, the climate crisis is already here, and we already got someone who is a climate denier. I may cover that on my next stream because we will wrap up here soon. I'm gonna get to some of these comments. Deep Moody Purple Blues on YouTube said people fleeing the deadly effects of U.S. foreign policy are not our enemies. The criminal cabal who captured our government is our enemy. That's why we want to get people to understand. And it's gonna be a hard fight to get a lot of people who are like scared of the other to believe in this. But why should I direct blame towards immigrants when we have a violent ruling class, a violent, deeply immoral ruling class? They're running fucking sex trafficking operations. They're complicit with bombing bombing people overseas. They are stealing massive amount of wealth from us. They were giving themselves corporate bailouts, and you guys worry about immigrants? That doesn't make sense. Zonito said, Nick, the immigrants are stealing our jobs. Do you know how hard it is to find a job? Working in a field, picking tomatoes in 105 heat for 10 hours with for $8 an hour. I looked and couldn't find a single one. I think you're being a little tongue in cheek there. I think that sounds like a tongue in cheek comment. We like, yeah, a lot of these immigrants are working jobs that Americans don't want. I think that's the point of his comments. I think you tell me if I'm wrong. Hopefully, I'm not wrong there, but that sounds like a tongue in cheek comment. Yao said that is true. Capitalists will always pay as little as possible. I'm sure you're talking about something I said earlier. Yao said, do you believe in solar panels and renewable energy, or how do you want to fight climate change? Man, that's gonna take a lot of unpacking. We need to completely revamp and rechange the way our economy works, and we can, because the way our economy works right now is a trickle-down economic hellhole that does not work. We are seeing massive amount of wealth that has been stolen from the working class, and that is by design. That is what capitalism is always designed to do, because corporations always have to turn a profit. So once you reach the maximum amount of where your product and your whatever you're selling reaches maximum value, you need to steal and extract wealth from other sources. And way you take wealth once your product reaches maximum is still from labor. That always will be the case in capitalism, and there's nothing that can stop from that. Now, you can have a society where we literally reallocate the resources. That's why tax the rich is kind of a moderate position, because taxing the rich is not the reallocation of resources that socialism demands. We literally want to seize the means of production, because that's the best way to spread prosperity. We are the richest country in the world, but we have people that live in serfdom. We have the South that live in poverty, that is like third world country like. Well, I would say we are like, they literally show that income inequality is worse than it was in the age of serfdom in the South. So I don't like using the term third world country, because a lot of these third world countries, their standard of living is higher than us. So that's mostly propaganda. So we can completely reshape our economy where we got to focus on, we can't, there's just so much going to this. So much. And I'm getting there in the stream. But we need to invest into ourselves. Like the Green New Deal, it doesn't go far enough, because we need to completely slash the military, because that's what the Green New Deal doesn't tackle. Because I don't want to talk about the Green New Deal as much, because we need to challenge the military, because the military is the largest polluter. So if you don't have a plan that challenges the military, you're not being serious about climate change. So we need to tear down the military industrial complex, take that funds and reinvest into programs that will actually fight the climate crisis, reducing emissions. And we can have a real jobs program that will give people jobs, high-paying jobs, to help fight the climate crisis. We're just so far away from it. I had to completely unpack that, because the way our economy works right now, the way our trickle-down economic neoliberal capitalist society works right now, we will never be able to fight the climate crisis. That's why the idea of having a neoliberal capitalist in charge of our economy and thinking that Joe Biden is going to fight the climate crisis, that never makes sense at face value. That never makes sense at face value, because their system is not designed to fight the climate crisis. If we have a system of progressive socialist economics, eco-socialism, we can actually, it's kind of too late right now. We got to learn, that's the thing. It's already too late. We got to learn to live with the climate crisis. And that's what we need eco-socialism for. So let me get us some comments. That was a hard question to answer, because there's so much to go into that. and I almost had an hour, so I didn't want to go too long. I want to get your guys' thoughts. There's so much to unpack from there. Um, Gene said, I can't see the anti-immigrant comments. Well, Yao is the person who disagreed with me on immigration. He on the Twitch side, right? Quaker said, white elite climate activists refuse solidarity or coalition building with black, brown, white, working class, and poor activists and the impacted. Very interesting, Quaker. I don't disagree because I see. You say that you use the term white elite, and that's important. The white elite, they are not real climate activists. Like if you think you're a climate activist just because you support the Democratic Party, you're not. You're not. They don't care. They're not calling out Joe Biden. These people are only climate activists when the Republicans in charge. Eric Thomas said the number one job of leftists is to create more leftists. And that's what I've been doing. The amount of conservatives that told me that I changed their positions on this stuff, that makes me happy. That's what I love to do. Yeah, I wasn't calling you a climate denier, y'all. That tongue-in-cheek comment ignores that underlying issue of job underpaying workers. That's once again always gonna put the onus on the ruling class. I'm not gonna allow them to scapegoat immigrants. I'm not gonna let that happen. Hope you guys enjoying the stream. If you guys like it, support the Patreon, Cash App, Socials MMA, Venmo, Socials MMA. That's how you support independent media. Once again, I'll try to do these streams when Fred Hampton left is not on, but I try not to stream the same time they do. So I still got a few more stories to cover, but I'm gonna keep it around an hour. Yeah, so that was a tongue-in-cheek comment coming from Zanito. So thanks for clarifying. I was trying to see what your comment was about. He said there is a flaw in your plan. If the plan is to build up the FHL media network on YouTube, Rockfin, Twitch, or to fight capitalism, because the revolution won't be televised, what's to stop the capitalist government from simply saying you're a Nazi, a hate group, and just blocking all your accounts? If they can kick Trump off social media networks, what to stop them from doing that from you? We 100% know that. We already know that. That's why I speak about all the time the issue with the government overreach of free speech, because that's such a giant issue. But we can have other strategy of organizing, because podcasting, being on YouTube and Twitch, that's just one game plan. Because Fred Hampton gave speeches in public all the time, and that's what I'm trying to do with what we have. Because I'm sure that if Fred Hampton had the resources that we have, he definitely put his speeches online. So that's what we want to do. We want to continue to educate people and radicalize people, because that's the best I have. But I don't have a ton of resources to do much else other than that, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic. And we got to continue to, like, we want to have the General Strike Summit. There are a lot of questions about how to strike. We want to spread awareness on that, and that's, I think, our obligation with our platform is to do. And we know that the state will crack down on us and censor us. That's the fight, and that's why we want to focus. That's why we talk to like Misty about Julian Assange. That's why I covered Daniel Hale, Stephen Donziger. Like, these things are important, right? So that's all I have to say on that. Because the point is, what you're saying, that my plan is going to be tough because it's a hard fight, and I don't deny that it's a hard fight. But I don't think that's a critique of my plan. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we want to challenge the ruling class with our media spaces. When they control the media spaces, yeah, that's going to be hard. I get what you're saying. But I think we should still do it until they shut us down, right? Gene said, yeah, Nick, yes. Sorry, let me get something to drink. Talking for an hour of stuff, guys. Gotta stay hydrated. So Gene said, Nick, yes, the climate crisis is at the point of adaptation. While we still try to stop the emissions, this is the biggest reason why I am an anarcho-syndicalist. Oh, sorry, I struggle with that. And why I'm here with you and FHL. Thank you for that, Gene. Gene has great politics. I appreciate Gene. Every time, so I would like to see FHO be a independent media membership organization. FHO, like I talk about this with Rome and CJ all the time. We're more than just podcasters. We are activists with a platform. So as FHO grows, and as I'm able to travel and free move, because right now we're in a COVID pandemic, it's really hard to do a lot of things we want to do. And we are still only 6 months in. We don't have any resources. There's not money in this, guys. So as we do grow, and hopefully we do get resources, like we're gonna be actually helping organize strikes. We're gonna be continuing to promote things like Tour for the Poor and Affinity Mutual Aid Group. That's the future of FHO. We want to like actually be in the fight. Like we're not just podcasters. We're actually activists. But we're using what we have available to us right now. That's the only thing we can do. So that's the future of FHO. Hopefully we can continue to grow. Hopefully you guys continue to show solidarity with us. And hopefully you guys support this show as well. I'm independent, right? So if you want to support the Patreon, Socialist MMA, Cash App, Socialist MMA, Venmo, Socialist MMA, any small donation like $5-10, that would help out a lot if you appreciate these streams. But once again, thank you guys for watching. I'll probably be back tomorrow. I'll see what I can do. Make sure you guys check out the JB show tomorrow on Sunday on Friend and Leftist Network. And I didn't cover. I have a few more stories to cover, so I'll come back tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow and cover some stories I didn't get a chance to cover on this stream. But thank you guys for checking me out. This is MMA. Sign off. Peace out, y'all.